Hello, hi. So today we are starting Devil May Cry 4. As you can tell, I have already started playing this game, so it's not new to me. Um, but it is one of my favorites. Devil May Cry 4. Why am I a fan? That is not the question you should be asking. What you should be asking is, why am I not a fan of the Devil May Cry series? I, as in you of course, right? Is that how that works? I'm confused. Are you confused by Devil May Cry yet? It is a very confusing series. Well, Devil May Cry is a game, you silly reptile. But what kind of game? I hear you asking. Far into the future, when games no longer exist? Well, it's not an over-the-top edge fest, if that's what you're thinking. It's actually quite silly and fun. It's even approved and loved by sharks. Many people start at 1 and end at 2, never reaching 3 or 4, where the game series finally found its own identity. Climaxing in 5, a game so good that fans had to wait 11 years for it to release. For we were not worthy of the power and levels of fun and excitement. The first two games were worked on by two separate teams. The first team had a very basic story, due to it being a rework of a Resident Evil plot. When the second game came around, a completely new and inexperienced team that had previously only worked on arcade machines was expected to work on a console game. If you enjoyed the first game, the second one will kill your momentum. Then it happened. The one who would save the franchise, Itsuno-san, he would create the best DMC tale in the Devil May Cry franchise, and the best character ever, Lady. And yes, that is her name. It was given to her by her boyfriend, Dante. Sorry, they are my OTP. My one true pair, I shipped them. Ahem. So then why am I talking about DMC4 today? Why not start with 1 or 3? Huh. That's because I was introduced to Devil May Cry with the fourth one. Of course, I didn't know all of this information beforehand, but that's how big of an impact this game had on me, that I wanted to learn all I could about the series afterwards. It all began when I saw this fear of you. I mean, this demo of yours, sorry. Wrong franchise. I also love Final Fantasy X, both of them. A story for another time. So where were we? Oh, right. Final Fantasy X, Devil May Cry 4 Edition. Just kidding. The reason Devil May Cry is my favorite series is how wonderfully obtuse the games are, in the sense that they don't properly fit into a genre. There is no right way of playing the games, despite what some people in the community have grown to believe. It is a franchise that is just meant to be fun, and not taken too seriously. Like a quick game of Tetris. At first, you might lose at like level 8 because you haven't grown used to the speed. But the more you play, the better you'll get. You just have to know that despite all those cool combo videos that show off years of practice, the only thing Devil May Cry wants is your soul, for you to have fun creating your own combos. Yeah, you might get stuck at like level 2 to a boss, but the characters never take anything too seriously. So why should you? Or the community, for that matter. It's a series that you come back to casually, slowly improving every time you return. At least, that's how I've learned to experience the games. The demo for DMC4 that came out on PS3 included Daria, this monstrosity of a demon, towering over your character, who is nice enough to leave you alone. Aw, so sweet. And then you start the fight, because you can never tan. See? Silly game. And then I got wrecked, but it stuck with me. And it wasn't just that I got defeated. It's not like the Dark Souls experience, where oh, this game is hard. I have to prove my skill to show how much of a god gamer I am. Which is also fun in its own way. It's more like the character on screen was unfazed, was even laughing at the threat. Essentially, I wanted to get better so that I can do the character on screen justice. and be able to laugh at this terrifying creature. In the same manner, I wanted to get Sunburn alongside him because in my eyes, he was so cool. So, instead of DMC4, I got DMC3 because PS3 was expensive and I only owned the PS2. How did I play the demo? Magic, I guess. All I knew is that I wanted to play 4 and somehow, magically, playing the third one will make that go faster. Child logic, but eventually I did get to play DMC4 and it was too much for me to handle. First of all, the white-haired man in this box is not the same as the white-haired man in this box. This guy is Nero, and this guy is Dante. I'm Cyuwill, and I see that you will subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you. So yeah, two totally different people with white hair. Also, two different kinds of movesets. Also, Dante is in this game as well, and has many more moves due to style switching, but only like a few levels to practice. But DMC3 had the best story to ever DMC. Why would I want to play as Nero, even though he got me interested in DMC in the first place? Safe to say, it was too much for my brain when my only strategy for DMC3 was button mashing really fast. Then I took a step back from DMC4 and didn't play it for a long while. It wasn't until I played DMC5, which was a lot more accessible and player friendly, that I went back and played 4. It is now my most played DMC. With DMC4, there's always more to learn and experiment with, while DMC1, DMC3, and DMC5 are just as fun. DMC4 is what started my journey, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. So what order should you play the games? The fourth one first. Obviously. Why, you ask? Because it's an obtuse series. The fourth one was meant to introduce new players to the franchise. What about all the complicated movesets? It was only complicated for me because I was used to button mashing in DMC3. Nero is actually very beginner friendly since he has so few moves and the game was built for him. Don't be afraid to experiment, to look and feel as cool as possible. These games are all about getting that style meter as high as possible and maintaining it. It wants you to show off by varying your moves, which sounds intimidating, but remember, Nero has a very limited moveset. Now, Dante is a whole different ballpark. This game was not built for him. His moveset is large and intimidating. A lot of moves are more for visual flair rather than effectiveness. When you play him at first, you'll be like, what is his style? How come I can't clear the room anymore? Why does it feel like nothing I do works? It is a test. If you can somehow find a way to make sense of everything while being stylish, then you'll be ready for 3 and 5, as both those games were actually built for Dante. There's probably a lot of people yelling at me in the comments, telling me how this Dante is the most skill-based and rewarding character to play in all of DMC. And they are right. Dante is a fun character to go back to. He is the reason why I say this game is like Tetris. At first, you're floundering around because everything is moving so fast, and there are so many pieces to his moveset, and nothing seems as effective as when you played Nero, who had a slower, more well thought out game design. You'll probably make love to the floor a bunch of times and praise the sun when the game finally allows you to play as Nero again. It doesn't help that most of what makes DMC4 Dante fun are moves that are not even listed in the game. It all involves timing. The coolest things you can do in this game involve near frame perfect timing and buying all the skills in the shop. If you time your button pressing correctly, you can catch this boss's lance. Once caught, you can chuck it back at him by pressing the lock-on button. If you press the correct button at the right time, when you swing your sword, you can instantly fill up a bar that makes your next swing more powerful. With Dante, If you press the double trigger button in the middle of an attack, the game will actually register the attack twice, meaning you will do more damage. Real Impact is his strongest move, and if you time it right, you can do a lot more damage to some of the more tanky enemies. With Dante, it's about which move or puzzle piece works best for which enemy. If you get frustrated with DMC for Dante, there's nothing wrong with going to 5, a game that is much more forgiving. You can come back to 4 once you master 5, then play 3, and after that the original 1 for more story appreciation, or play it 1, 3, 4, 5 if numbers are more your thing. 5, 4, 3, 1 if you know you won't be able to handle 4. 4, 5, 3, 1 with the beginner friendly Nero and the trial by fire Dante. That will make the difficulty in the other games feel much easier and allow you to enjoy the lore while feeling cool as hell. Or 3, 1, 4, 5 for the proper story order. Or, you know what, just play DMC cause it's fun and silly in all the right ways.
You can stay and die, or you can walk your ugly ass back through that gate. It's your call, pal.
I've retreated once and will not do so again.
That's a letdown. I was hoping for a bit more than just a few sparks. Satisfied. You are set free.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I also stream on Twitch if you'd like to check that out. Thank you.